Devil was my love for you. Hello? I've heard people say that too much of anything is not good for you, baby. But I don't know about that. Now that I'm here, no more tears come here. Hello, hello. Somebody say something. Somebody say something now. This is the morning gardener. Yes, sir. Hello, how you doing? Ah, he said hello. I'm doing good. I'm getting ready to make a purchase for my house, and I wonder if anybody have any input on it, which is it's called a smart thermostat. Now, the reason why I want to get it is because if anybody know my channel, it's all about saving those valuable bucks. And what I've noticed is that uh, something else, I'm not growing enough food. I'm not growing enough food. I've been online. I've been looking into some things, and they got a whole lot of videos on intensive intensive gardening, and I think it was so interesting that people that were doing it, there were certain techniques that they had, like for instance, they have to water more often, and also they have to water uh, much more heavily than they normally would. But what it allowed them to do was it allowed them to produce just more food in the same amount of space. Because if you pay attention to the packages that you buy, if you're planting seeds, for instance, and you plant the seeds, and the seeds are like it says plant every 18 inches, every 2 feet, put a seed. They had one gentleman, and I can't call his name, but he was putting those seeds so close together, and he was producing all his food because he figured out mathematically. He said, "Now, if I can get," uh, he said, "even 2 tomatoes per each plant. If I planted 16 of those tomatoes, you follow, and then he would get a certain number, guaranteed of fruit." And I thought about it, and I looked at it, and I said, "It makes sense." You would have to fertilize a little more, which is I'm doing that now. I'm actually here in Maryland. I'm fertilizing right this moment. It is what is it called? It's oh God, come on now. Right now, I am fertilizing in the dead of winter. At nighttime now, it's getting around 30 degrees and some nights and 31 and that sort of thing. Uh, and the situation is, I'm using. Hello, how you doing? I am I am fertilizing my garden right now in the dead of winter. I love it. Been eating a lot of eggs lately, and I keep saying to myself, don't throw away the carton, which is like a paper carton with the shells in it. And so, that being said, um, I don't want to throw it away. So, what I do is I'm going to incorporate it in a compost pile and cover it over. And I like to see how long it takes for the content and as well as the cartons to completely disappear. And well done, well done. Thank you, thank you. Put it right inside the compost pile. I love that. Now, something else I used to do, which was a lot of fun. Try it if you like. Remove all the plastic from some of the bills that you have come to your house, and the paper part, like paper, and you put all this inside the compost pile and cover it up. Doesn't last very long when you put it there. So it's like a positive way of dealing with junk mail. Now, the ones with made of plastics and little screen in the center that's plastic, of course you got to remove that. But other than that, put it in there, have the bill come to some good use. Of course, pay them first, but put them in there and just let them do their thing. And that's how you do that. I am so happy, so happy, so happy. But I'm thinking about short work of the paper. Bio makes short work of, absolutely make short work of that paper. And think about it, it adds content to your pile. It's nothing but a wood product, and you're actually recycling it. So you're making soil out of it. So it's a good deal all the way around. Um, Another thing, I'm considering buying a smart home thermostat. What are your thoughts? A smart home thermostat. Are they worth the investment? Are they? I mean, because they got one that's really beautiful looking. The one they keep advertising in round shape. It's about they're pretty pricey. Anywhere from 250 to dollars and up. And if you shop around, you can do a better deal. But all in all, um, the thermostat is supposed to be programmable as you use the thermostat up and down, up and down. It'll actually learn your behavior. I think it's a good idea. Okay, I like that because um, what I read is that you can be at work and you can get these. You can actually set your temperature down some at the job, and it'll remember that. And each day you do that, you say, "Oh, it's not that cold outside today. It's 55 degrees. Let me bring it down the house to 60 degrees, or let me bring it up to." And it'll actually learn your furnace as how long it takes your furnace to actually warm the house up, cool the house down, and all this. It'll learn that, and then it'll actually look for times or ways uh, to save your energy. And I thought that was quite interesting. But it's $300, and that's it. Well, 250, $300. It depends on where you go, and you can find them cheaper than that if you just shop around. And they have different models that do different things. But as you use it, it learns, what needs to be done. And it's supposed to be really, really simple to hook up because all the wires are clearly marked red, white, green, whatever, black. It's just marked very well. Uh, and I like that because you don't run into any problem. But to be on the safe side, when you pop that panel off of the old thermostat, use your cell phone, take a picture or two, and that way you can't mess it up. You just cannot mess it up. I do that when I work on my car. I take pictures of. Okay, I say, okay, I gotta take these wires loose. I gotta take this little plastic box off, whatever it may be. Um, and when I do that, before I start, I take pictures of the engine all the way around. I take pictures. And when I start working on it, I know exactly how many screws are there, how to put it back together, et cetera, et cetera. So I saved a ton of money this year working on my car. I did thousands of dollars worth of work on my car and did it for hundreds of dollars as opposed to thousands. And all I had to do was buy the parts and put them in. Did some research on how the parts are put in, or what to be careful, what to watch for. And everybody knows a lot of things you do. You just disconnect the battery on the car to make certain that you don't blow anything out while you're working. All in all, it's all about survival, saving money. Um, there was a gentleman at work today, and he was had a real shock when he looked at how much he would make when he actually retired from pension and Social Security and that sort of thing. And he scared the hell out of him because uh, I don't know what kind of situation he's in, but but it was the amount of money he quoted to me. There's no way you can live off of that. No way you can live off of that. And so I've learned that some people are actually starting businesses of their own so that they can survive. And these gardens are a great idea to actually um, do. and to make income and to be able to survive. And we got food for our permaculture. I believe he does the same thing, folks. I believe he does his own business. And we got there's a number of other gardens I see on here that have side hustles. And I like gardening because it's fun. After almost 20 years, after 20 years, it's more than 20 years. Uh, it's still fun to me. Um, I drive around. I don't care where I'm at in the market, wherever. Like today, I went up to the market. Went to the market today. I'm always going to the market every day, almost. I go to the market and I got in there and I started noticing that they had ginger. Ginger. My lady said she wants me to grow ginger. I did it before. Grew pounds of the stuff. Um, but I wasn't happy because I wasn't growing a lot of ginger. I grew like a few pounds, whatever, 7 to 8 pounds. I was doing it in containers. I'm always doing it in containers. Um, so I'm thinking of getting back into it because ginger is still pricey here in this location, Maryland, and to grow it and um, to get the health benefits from eating ginger is just well worth it. Well worth the initial investment. They had ginger there for 99 cents, a little bag. But what they do to the ginger is they remove the eyes off of the sides of them. Why? I have no idea. That they remove the eyes off of the ginger. And someone was telling me, and I don't know how true this is. There are things that I don't know, about certain plants. But they said if you put it in the right conditions, it'll grow the eyes back. I don't know about that, because the eyes grow along the sides of the ginger, on the sides. And I did see one, maybe two eyes on this ginger that was in the store. So so they cut them off. Why I don't know. I guess to make them more appealing, or the other thing is so people cannot grow ginger because ginger is once you learn how it grows, you can grow ginger. It's um, ginger to me was, but you get the right soil, find out what the right soil for it is because I never thought I quite got that right. They I put it in soil and I put sometimes I put a 50-50 mix of cow manure and whatever compost or whatever, and I would do a mixture of that and then put it in there, and it would grow, and it looked pretty good. But I never grew mine in direct sunlight or none of that. I always grew it in like a partial shaded area because I found out mine did better for whatever reason. And then they would grow, and I would come back in this after it's time to pick it, and I would pull it out of the ground, and all of this beautiful ginger I would see under there that wasn't there when I planted the few pieces I put in the they call it the just the container I put it in. Yes, sir. Growing ginger. Ginger is nice now, but I heard different things about ginger. It'll run your blood pressure up and that sort of thing. And that's one of the things that I have to get some time and research that because I don't know how a plant like that would cause your blood pressure to be higher. I don't know, but ginger, it grew beautifully, and I was to look at it. It was all pretty and clean, and it was purple down at the bottom where the stalk connected to the rhizome. It was incredible. I just loved it, watching it grow. It looked tropical as well. By the way, I hope I mentioned that it looks like a tropical plant when it grows. Absolutely beautiful. Ginger. And the other thing is I'm adding more grapes. So that's exciting to me as well, is that there will be more grapevines on my property thanks to food forest permaculture, giving me the idea that you can use your trees as scaffolding for your grapevines. And I also thought what that would look like uh, if you grew the grapes with the peaches or the pears or plums, and you would see um, these two plants entwined in each other. Let's see, hardy kiwi, good for the cold. Good for the cold. Hardy kiwi, good for the cold. Okay, so it's good for the cold, or it's good for cold weather. Because I have two. I bought one hardy kiwi, and it was one that they had on the shelf for like $1. And I said, give it a chance, give it a chance, because it's, when they bring them in the store, they don't water them any more than what they did when they delivered them. And so they had a little bag tied up in. So that's that. Let's see, passion fruit grows in the unheated greenhouse. Passion fruit grows in an unheated greenhouse. Now, I've been hearing a lot about this passion fruit. Let me ask you something, sir. Is it really a good tasting plant, or do you have to get accustomed to that taste? Is passion fruit a plant you really want to mess with growing? Is it a good plant to grow? Is it an invasive kind of plant? I don't know. I love all kind of fruit. Passion fruit, or they say in the commercials, passion fruit. Get your fruit on. It's a wonderful thing. I had to do that. But I think that I just feel good today. Yesterday, I want to say something, folks. It's a little off topic. Accidentally twisted my ankle yesterday. Where it happened, how it happened, I have no idea. Only thing I know is usually with me, sometimes if I twist an ankle or something like that, I don't find out until the next day. I don't know if anyone else has to deal with anything like that, but I found out the next day it started getting sore, and getting stiff. And I remember something that a person told me. They said, you might as well walk on that, because if you don't, it's going to stiffen up. And you got to keep it. So it's gotten so sore that you can't walk on it really. And it's amazing how sore a slightly twisted ankle can cause much pain. Let's see, in the greenhouse, you can grow anything with the right temperature. I see that this man, folks. I would go on his channel, keep track of food forest permaculture, to learn this stuff. Because I go look at his videos and I see all this food growing, and I look at him and I say, he knows how this works. And so when it comes to him in the grocery stores and everything, I don't see them getting money from him like he can't get fruit, because he can get fruit. He knows how to do it. So people like that, just keep track of him. And plus, he don't mind sharing the information. He does not mind sharing the information. But the thing I look at is that I'm so happy because I'm coming up. I have a number of fruit trees. I have some fruits that I like as far as bushes, blackberries, blueberries. And I did something to my blackberries. Well, they'll grow a plant in the spring, but they won't produce any fruit. I got to figure that out and see what's going on. because they'll produce and then they won't produce any fruit. And I think it's because they're crowded in kind of in shaded areas. So I think that's part of it because I had one that was growing, it had the berries on it and everything, but they never turned black. They just stayed green. And then next thing you know, it was winter again. So, plus it grew about 16, 17 feet long. Three branches touch the ground. You know what they do when they touch the ground? They create new vines. So I didn't even replant them. I could have clipped them off at about a foot and then stuck them in. That would have been three more plants growing. But I'm thinking, is my blackberry getting out of hand? Because I don't even know where it's growing and where it used to grow and where it did grow, and because it's growing everywhere now, kind of, you know. And I said, keep this thing in check because uh, this blackberry plant. Remember, you bought one plant. You gave cuttings to your neighbors. You also have uh, probably about 10 cuttings growing now on your property, but you started with one plant. So it may be getting a little out of hand. Let's see. Grapevines in the greenhouse, good. Birds, no birds eating. Thank you kindly, morning garden. Oh, no. Absolutely, thank you. Thank you. People tell me a lot about greenhouses, and I don't quite understand them because I guess with greenhouses you have to find a way to heat them. Uh, and you know, because you just build the structure, whether you cover it with plastic or glass or whatever. Um, you know, because I have a hallway in my house, but it's not. It's got a huge window in my house. It's about how many? It's about 20 feet across and about uh, 6 feet 6 feet tall. I guess that's it. If I use it right. 6 feet tall. The window's about 20 feet across, and that's the room where I do my plants at. I do my plants in that room, and I really enjoy working in that room. You know, but you still, when it comes to certain things with your with the greenhouse, you got to heat it. I guess. Let's see. Must maintain airflow. Okay. Oh, that's right. I forgot about. Thank you, Morning Garden. Thank you, Food for Permaculture, because I've seen those in those marijuana videos where the guys would have fans blowing in there, and I would think, okay, these plants are really getting a spa treatment, but they were using them, you know, to stimulate the plants and also to keep the plants healthy. And I said, okay, but yeah, you can get a fan and yeah, and just go ahead and keep those plants moving about, keep them all, you know. Solar fans work awesome. Solar fans work awesome. Now let's see now. See, I'm not into this kind of stuff. This is really nice. Solar fan. You can aim it at my plant box and run the fan. What size blades am I looking at? What is it, about 6 inches or 8 inches? Or can I use a solar fan inside the house? I mean, you know, I have to find a way to run the panel outside. That should be interesting. Solar fans work awesome. I'm gonna do some research on that because I want to get the right one. Solar fans. Never used fans before. Never understood. But I appreciate that information. Yeah. I want to do everything right this year. Because this year I have a control device that allows me to take my heat mats and set them at a temperature. So they'll stay at that temperature. Whether it be 70 degrees or 80 degrees, it'll stay at that temperature. Because I've been doing a little bit of research on um, devices that will take the temperature of the soil that you are using to uh, basically, you know, keep your seedlings at optimum temperature to germinate. And I found out that those heat mats that you get, you know, the little heat mats you get, the temperature on those those heat mats, basically, to me, is unknown. I don't know what is it, 80 degrees? Is it, but but the I say general airflow. Wait. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Gentle airflow. That is really nice because I can see myself setting this fan up and actually being able uh, to be able to keep my plants healthier with the flow of air. Uh, that's beautiful. I'm thinking right now of the optimum temperature to germinate, like pepper plants and what's the other one called? Anything, pepper plants, tomato plants, things like that. Because what happens is when you plug that mat up and you have no way of controlling the temperature on those mats, and let's say you're using, let's say the mat was 80 degrees. Uh, if that mat's 80 degrees, but the optimum temperature for a tomato is 70 degrees. Well, I think you could be cooking seeds and never understand why these seeds are not germinating. BRB, BRB. I'm not sure what that is. BRB. But yeah, but the thing about it is, I love it when a plan comes together. So if you can control the temperature of the mat, also that like Mr. Food Forest Permaculture put out there, the uh, the uh, the airflow uh, in the area where the plants are. That if you cover everything, you can grow really, really healthy plants. Now, here's what always amazes me. When I go up to the big box stores in the spring, I see the most healthiest looking plants. I gotta craft my words here so that I'm not saying anything that's incorrect. The plants look healthy, big burly plants. And I said, how do they do that? What are they using to get those plants to look like that? Um, what are they using? Because Barney's is the company, excuse me, that delivers to one of the stores, for instance, Home Depot, also Walmart. But the plants, when they come in, are big and burly. And I look at these plants and I said, oh my God, look at these plants. These plants, and sometimes you'll take those same plants, put them onto your property, and they will immediately start to fail in some cases because what they use to do what they do to keep them plants like they are, if you're not set up for that, or your soil in your on your property is not up to that level of what they grew it in, or what chemicals they use to make these plants drug addicts. That's something that you have to investigate before you go out giving somebody $3 and $3.50 for per plant. I have never done that, folks. Um, with things that I grow for like vegetables. Now I have bought grapevines and I have bought blackberry vines and things of this nature. All I'm buying is the genetics. All I want is the genetics, and I got something that's going to last years when I plop down that money. And then on top of that, I'm always going in and getting plants such as plants that will definitely um, produce fruit for years to come, and that's how I do it. Um, and so my plan is working out, but I feel that my plan could be better. My plans could be better, and I can get a much more optimum um, turnout, which is some people say, well, I have fruit trees, but I'm not producing fruit. I have fruit trees, but I'm not getting as much fruit. I have fruit trees, but the bugs are eating them out. So that was my whole issue one time with the peaches is that I go see this little uh, drip of look like honey coming from a little hole, and I said something went in there and did that. Um, and I followed what some of the information tells me, which was get some dormancy spray and spray the trees in the winter, and you can spray the trees just before they bud out, and you're all set. But hello everyone, Nature Nine and family. Okay, all right, that's a good name there. That's a good name. But I just I could not ever do what some people are doing and spend as much money as they do in their garden. I used to do that because I didn't know. I just didn't know, and now I know better. I know that you could go to Walmart. Here's what I do: I go to Walmart. I buy a whole bunch of seeds, and then when I buy these seeds, I put the seeds in a cup. Well, and some people say, put four maybe seeds to that cup. I'll put 10 in there. I'll put 10 seeds in there. I'll put 15 in there. And what I do is I let all of them grow out, and I let them grow out, let them grow up, let them grow out. Then if they get really big, I'll transplant the really healthy big ones to their own separate pot. And when I do that, it's still not time as far as the time of year to put them outside, but I will hold on to them, and and by this time they're out of control because you got 5-inch cups, 6-inch cups, big plants, a foot to 2 feet tall, tomato plants. Now your pepper plants are catching on. Everything is in your greenhouse or green room, and you're thinking, okay, I need to keep them under sun. I need to keep them warm in here. So you are definitely up against the wall. Now you get some warm days and the sun starts coming up, so you start taking them outside. You take them outside for an hour one day, bring it back in. Some people say 30 minutes the first time, then bring it back in and take it out an hour next time, and then so on and so forth until these plants start standing out. Oh, you're back. You're back. Great. Um, and so once you do this, um, you are growing seedlings, plants, if you will, that you can now save money on. And always do that, folks. Don't shell out your money in the spring because I watch people when the spring comes, and I watch them. And I have a different personality. I watch people and they migrate all to the garden department. Now, keep in mind, I've already shopped throughout the winter. I bought bags of manure, bags of this that were frozen solid in the garden department. Um, and I do this to get a jump on everything. Thus the name morning garden. I try to do everything early in the morning, as far as the time of year. And I go out and I get everything. I get everything I need, whether it be little snippers to cut things and water hoses if I need them and whatever. I get all of that stuff early, dead in the year, so I can talk bargains. I can get with the person in the garden department, and or I go to Walmart when Walmart starts bringing in their seeds, and they got seeds in there for 50 cents a pack, um, as opposed to $3 a pack. And what they do, you got to be careful, is that Walmart will bring those seeds in, and they will put all the expensive seeds where you can see them. And the ones that are 50 cents a per pack, you got to go look for them in the store. Because if you don't look for them, you will not find them because they're not putting them right out there to compete with the $3 seeds. They put them in the back. So you got to go and look and say, oh, there they are. There they are. What they doing all the way over there in that little corner in an area down low shelf so you can't really see them? They don't want you really buying those. If you're going to, people pay for a shelf in the stores. They know where they want to be placed at, and those shelves are considered prime real estate, and it put the items in the store that they're going to get paid more for right in front of your eyes. In fact, so I go in and I grab all the 50 cent seeds I want. I don't take them all like I once used to. I used to, go in there. Some people grab all that stuff, then they go online and they sell it, back to other people. Which they take a 50 cent pack, pop a couple of them open, pour it into a little plastic bag, and mark it up to $3, 3.50 or whatever, and they make some scraps like that. Um, not the person not knowing that these were 50 cent seeds, so actually dollar, and then you go pay them and the shipping, and it's a whole thing. But I like to go get my seeds early on. And I tried out a pepper. It was called a Mexico pepper, something to that effect. And folks, I gotta say, those are some pretty summer guns when they grew. I never tried them before, and I got them. They were actually prettier than what was on the pack, the picture that was on the pack. They grew long, they were large, they were red, they were green colored, and they were just pretty. And I said, wow, look at these. They're crunchy, they're sweet. I like this. This will have room in the next year's garden. So I up here, I know what pepper they were, and I will be growing them again. But I'm going to do it differently this year. I will put them in a 6-inch pot. There will be over 25 to 30 seeds put in that pot. I will grow them, and or I will start them directly in the garden, and I will just loosen up the soil in a place and add my compost and put all 30 seeds in that spot and cover them over. And then once they come up, then I'll begin to move them around to where they need to be placed. And if I do a straight line or a square or whatever, I will put them in there and they will be planted close together because I think that I'm going to do better with growing plants closer together, save space, kind of block out the weeds, um, and also, being able to shade the ground to keep some of the ground around in that area cooler, and plants tend to grow better. Because once that temperature starts getting around 140 degrees, 150 degrees, you are looking at a situation where plants just stop growing. They just stop, and those plants are not going to start back when it cools back down. Yes, plants do grow dormant when it gets too hot for them, and so that's how that works. But I think that being able to know what the soil temperature is, because farmers back in the olden days, they would roll up their sleeve and they would take the elbow and they would put it on the ground, and if it was cold, based on what their understanding of what plants could go in there and what plants can't, they would say, no, we're not going to plant this particular crop right now. Some of them actually went to another extreme, which was drop trowels and set their naked butt right on the ground. And if it was cold, they would say, okay, not ready to plant yet. But if it was warm enough, they would say, okay, give it another week and a half, we'll go start planting potatoes or whatever type plant it is. Old days. Now, some of the plant experts are saying you could buy one of those laser temperature readers and hit the ground with and be able to tell if it's 50 degrees, if it's 75 degrees, and that will give you an indication what plants to start and when. If they, sustain that temperature for a period of time, you would know, okay, I can put potatoes in there, or I can put peppers in there. It's all about the soil temperature as well, folks. Yeah. But if you live in a climate like I do, you don't get a lot of warm weather all the way through 4, 5, and 6 months. You don't get that. You get 3 months, good months is three. You have to find as many ways as possible to start those plants, or excuse me, to start the germination process. And that means finding ways to make them plants germinate faster. And one way of doing that is to pour them in a cup with warm water, not hot but warm. Let them sit for 4 to 6 to 8 hours, or depending on the seed. If it's a really hard seed, you might let it sit overnight. Then you put them in the soil, and they'll germinate quicker. Instead of taking 7 and 10 days and all that, they'll do it a lot quicker because you activate the seed when you put it in the water. I like to use rainwater. If I have it, on my property and I can do it, I go out there and when the weather starts warming up, I go ahead and set my drums outside so that they'll capture water. Right now, we had rain, beautiful rain yesterday and everything. My drums are sitting there beautifully. Drums I've been having for many years now. They're now empty because they will not fill up now because I got them turned off. I like the system because it's closed. It's completely closed. No insects, no nothing, mosquitoes, nothing can get in them tanks. But what I have, the ball valves, it was cheap to put up. The system was incredibly cheap. I might have spent $100, a little over 100 maybe, and now it's just set up beautifully. Money God that when you start making your own fertilizer, and how long does it take to get ready for? Okay, I see something here. When do I make my fertilizer? I can do it anytime that water that I'm using there won't freeze. And all I need to do, oh, and plus I need weeds. So when the weeds start growing, I go ahead and start. Let me put it like this. Listen, folks, listen. Gardening is so easy that it's complicated, if that makes sense to you. We get all this different information from everybody on earth about how to do this thing that is so simple. And it's so simple. It's so simple that when you the fertilizer that I make is simple weeds, grass clippings. Soon as the grass starts in my area start growing that fresh grass where I can now get the mower to it, and I'll go out there and mow some of it up. I'll rake it up, take it back into, and I use a 32-gallon trash can with a lid. It's important to have that lid. I'll explain that why in a second. You put the grass clippings in there, and you put some weeds in there, and you put this water in there. I like to use rainwater. And sometimes I'll put the trash can out with the lid off and let it fill up a certain point with rain if I get some rain. But I use mostly my drums and I fill that water up in that trash can receptacle. Put the weeds in there. Put the grass clippings in there. Allow it to sit for a minimum of 4 weeks. Now, while it's sitting there, fermenting, stinking like I don't know what, for the first, I want to say 2, maybe 3 weeks. So keep it away from your neighbors. And so once you do this, the fermentation process is going on, then it's going to stop stinking. So you won't be able to smell it. And then you'll say to yourself, this is getting near being ready. And that's how you do it. So you get everything all set up. And I'm going to tell you something, folks. When you do that, that fertilizer is so good. Oh my goodness, that's some good stuff. It's cheap, which means it's completely free. Because if you get the rainwater and you get the weeds and the grass clippings, it's free. And that 32-gallon trash can full of fluid can last all the way through your garden season, depending on the size of your garden and how much and how often are you feeding your plants. But you can keep it there and just have a good time with it, because if you're feeding your plants every 2 weeks with the liquid, and what you're doing is you're mixing it 1 part to 10 parts water, 10 parts water, 1 part of the liquid. You got 32 gallons back there to use. It'll last you all summer long. Most expensive investment you made was a a 32-gallon plastic trash can is what you invested. And sometimes if you leave a lid off, if you leave a lid off of it, you'll get all these tiny little flies in it. You don't know what they are. There's some kind of, but don't let that throw you and say, "Oh God, it's no good. There's all these flies in it." It's only gotten better. That's all it did was get better. It's filling up now with nitrogen from the flies. It's filling up with nitrogen, and so some parts of growing a garden is kind of icky, but it's for the best. I have poured that. Listen, folks, I have poured that fertilizer around plants and seen them turn dark, pretty green. Seen them produce big, shiny, pretty bell peppers. Oh my goodness! And it just makes you go, wow. Um, you can pour it on your plants while you're planting them out. And instead of getting a plant going in the ground and you put the granulated fertilizer around and that sort of thing, and you have to wait about a week and a half, 2 weeks for some rain or whatever to hit before it even starts diluting into the soil, you don't have to do that. You use the liquid fertilizer, it's like that, instantaneous. They actually get something to eat in within seconds. And when you do that, they will eat, you will stimulate the biology in the soil, and you're just as happy as you can be. Um, oh, here's the most important thing. When you're working with this fertilizer, it is crucial that you absolutely get rubber gloves and put them on. It's crucial that you do that, folks. If you let this stuff get on your hands, uh, it's a possibility you may itch all day long on your hands. All on your hands. You will itch all day long. And I'm talking about that kind of itch that's just under the skin and you can't get to it. I did that. It took me a while because I'm kind of, didn't figure it out. Did not figure it out. But the thing about it is, don't do what I did. Put some rubber gloves on when you're working with this, um, because it's just not worth going through that. This stuff is alive, and it is. I mean, it tries to do a deal on your skin. That stuff is alive. You're actually creating a food for your plants that has so much going on inside that trash can that you don't want to just be second guessing and putting your hands in there and just saying, oh, it's all right. This is nothing but grass clippings, because you're dealing with biology. You're dealing with forms of life in that trash can that you're creating in that trash can. So just be careful. Just keep that in mind. Be careful. That will help you to afford feeding your trees, uh, your fruit bushes, and also your vegetable garden. All right, folks, I've ran my mouth enough, and and I just want to just say that it's been fun. It has been fun. I see people jumping on and off and back and forth, on and off on coming in and out of the room, in and out of the room. And so when you see that signal, you got to go, wait a minute, it's time to go. It's time to go. But at any rate, it's been real, and I appreciate when I first popped into the room, we got the people coming in and they were leaving information and saying, well, I want to learn something about gardening today, and that's what I do. I do it every day, 7 days a week when I'm sleeping. As long as I'm awake, I'm thinking about gardening, and some people like that. So I like to get with those type of people and benefit from their knowledge because they are addicted to what they're doing, and it's just part of their life. It's just a big part of their life. I love it. Right now, I'm going through withdrawals because I'm not able to grow as much as I want right now. But I am going to give my house plant I'm looking at right now. I'm giving it an aspirin tonight and make sure that because I took a cutting from it and added the cutting to uh, into another pot. So if I want to stimulate more root growth, I want to use a little bit of aspirin, and cause that to take place faster. This is the Morning Garden. Thank you very much for tuning in. This has been a great journey we both took into the world of gardening. So we're going to do that again next time around. And I want to thank you and keep on growing. Thank you. All right.